Welcome to a Gears of War podcast. Strap in, rev your lancers, and hit cover. This is Roadie Run Radio.
Welcome, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Oswald, and I'm here with my good bud, my brother to the end, Risk.
Howdy.
So what you're listening to is our newly created Gears of War podcast that we are calling Roadie Run Radio. Ideally, we love the series of Gears of War, and we always look for content and discussions to be a part of or just listen to. And with the hype of E-Day coming out, there really hasn't been anything discussing the new game or the series in general. And since we get on, play online, basically talk about it all day, every day, we figured, hey, why don't we just get together and just talk about it ourselves? So here we are. All right. So the way that we've decided to structure this podcast is it's going to be pretty simple. Every episode, we'll just have like a main topic. I'll probably talk about some minor topics, some random stuff. There are some special segments that we want to add in as well, but we'll discuss that at a later time, depending on how everything goes. But we do have a very special first topic that we kind of agreed upon that we thought would be perfect for an intro here.
And that would be your first time with Gears of War. So for me, the first time I played the game was actually at a internet cafe, which I'm pretty sure all of those in the States are dead, but it was awesome for the time. And I was 9 years old, and the owner's son actually just brought it out, and we just sat there and played it on like a 50-inch plasma TV, just 1v1s on canals. And I don't know, I just thought it was the sickest game ever created.
Internet cafe.
Yeah, you would go there, and like how they had it set up was you could pay $20 and you could just stay there and play all day.
What the heck?
Yeah, and people would come and like they did magic and all sorts of stuff. It was an awesome place.
See, as long as we've been playing together and knowing each other, that's new to me. Internet cafe. Nostalgic is a very powerful drug, and every time I hear a good origin story, it just, I don't know, makes me smile. But for me, man, it goes way back. To be honest, I kind of picked up Gears of War on a whim. I wasn't looking forward to playing it. I knew nothing about it. In fact, I mean, I take that back. I knew a little bit about it. I saw commercials for it, but the commercial didn't really show much. It didn't show gameplay or anything like that, so I didn't really know anything about it. But it was around Christmas of that year, the year before. I don't know. Was it 2006? I think it was 2006. Christmas of 2006. I know I wanted a horror element game, and the one that I went with was Fear at first. And when I received that, and I was like 12 or 13 at the time, when I received that, I didn't open it right away because I was contemplating. After seeing the commercials for Gears of War, I was like, do I want that instead? And obviously back then with having my parents fund everything, I couldn't pick and choose which one I wanted. It was either just like one or none, right? So I decided that I wanted to return it and get Gears of War instead. And I don't know, as soon as I popped Gears of War in, it was a decent experience. I played the campaign up until Act 3 before I got the shit scared out of me. And I turned it off and haven't touched it for about a month or so. And then once I got back into it and played through the campaign was great. And then I dove into some multiplayer, got the shit kicked out of me, and stopped playing that for about another month or so. Let's just say my starting experience with Gears of War was very slow. Very slow. I was a big baby back then, super scared to play it, and I sucked at the multiplayer, so I was not interested in that at all. But over time, I grew to absolutely love it. I got better at the multiplayer. I evolved from chainsawing around corners to actually using the shotgun and getting kills with other power weapons. At that point, I beat the campaign on all difficulties. But yeah, after I'd say about 4 months of actually trying and playing the game, I actually got hooked and fell in love with it.
And after the session I had at Bridge Monkey, which was the name of the cafe, dude, I was addicted to the game. That's all I wanted. I didn't personally have online back then. I was 9, and so I could only play it online whenever I went over to my cousin's house. So I'd play online on his account anytime I was over there. But anytime I was at home, I played through that campaign. I don't even know how many times I played through it. I played a lot of campaign, but I didn't complete it on Insane until I had Xbox Live, because I did every level by myself except for the car, the Krill level. Yep. I hosted just a random online lobby for a campaign. I don't remember the guy who joined, but he joined. We beat it on Insane, and I got all my achievements. I was so happy.
Man, what a time to be playing games. That was back when internet was still kind of new, in a sense, to the console space. When I had Gears of War, I had internet right from the gate. So I hooked up my internet or made an Xbox account right when I got my 360 in 2005, I want to say, like late 2005, or maybe no, it was in 2006. It was somewhere around there. But yeah, I made an Xbox Live account for Halo 2 at the time. So fast forward to Gears of War, I had internet and Xbox Live for that game. But one of my good friends at the time in high school got Gears of War and an Xbox for Christmas, and he was like in the same situation as you. He played the entire campaign offline solo, had no internet access, so he didn't even touch multiplayer. He didn't touch co-op or anything like that. But then he got to ROM, and he was struggling, and he asked me to come over one day, and I came over and we just split screened it. And then after that, I asked if he wanted to come back to my house, and he came over to my house, and that's when he found the golden era of console games experience and Xbox Live. And next thing I know, the following day, I get a friend request from some random person, end up being him. I don't know, just playing just a couple matches of Gears of War was just enough to spark interest to hook up an Ethernet to your console and make an account.
It was a great time. No party chat. You only have private chats for one-on-one. No one used them.
No.
Everyone was in game talking shit to each other, making friends. Like now everything is just text chat and Discord.
Yep, completely has changed. But I don't know. I think Gears of War just kind of sparked that for me, at least. The whole it's because like I said, I had Halo 2 and I think I played a lot of Perfect Dark Zero as well. But it's just like the online experience was just completely different. It's like I'm sure there was trash talk and smack talk in Halo, but I never kind of dove into that realm, I guess. I was just more playing like Big Team Battle and stuff like that. But
yeah,
I know Gears of War, ranked and even player matches at that point. There were no respawn modes, so it was more personal. You have one life elimination kind of thing, and there was a lot of trash talk going on in Gears of War.
It was
even like messages that you got.
Oh yeah, many death threats.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
especially since I was a small child.
Yeah.
Oh my god, if I said anything on the mic, I was done for.
The little squeaker.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we all were at that point.
Do you remember your first online match, though?
Man, to be honest,
or at least a most memorable match?
Yeah, so I don't remember like the very first match, but I kind of remember like my first experience with online multiplayer. It wasn't good. Let's just say that. I had no idea what I was doing. This is like, I think I jumped into multiplayer maybe halfway through the campaign when I took a break from it, hitting Act 3. And like I said, I got scared and I backed out. And
that Berserker's too spooky.
No, it wasn't the Berserker. It was the Lambent Wretch.
Oh yeah, when you're breaking.
Yeah, you have like the lightning storm and everything like that. And it's like I played through like the outside portion of the level. I'm like, this is kind of getting a little spooky. And then when they're like, oh no, you got to jump in the building. You want me to go into a close quarter combat with that thing? Nah, I'm good. Immediately dashboard. But no, I jumped into multiplayer after that, and to my surprise, there were 0 respawn game modes. So needless to say, I did a lot of spectating. I would join in, try and get a kill. I wouldn't do so hot, die, and then just watch people play. And that was my experience. It wasn't until I tried to figure... Actually, I looked at the achievements, to be honest with you, because I was an achievement whore back then. Looking at the achievements, I'm like, which one can I get in multiplayer that is the easiest? And I figured the chainsaw would be, because all I have to do is just sit around a corner and just wait for somebody to walk by. And that's what I did. So my experience playing Gears of War Online, my first bit of it was literally just hiding behind corners and just waiting for people to come chainsaw them. But other than that, it was not a good experience.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember my first match, but I do remember the first time I got screamed at for being a squeaker on Tire Station. I clearly remember that still, but it made me a better person in the end.
Yeah.
But honestly, with Gears 1, I actually never played ranked the entire time I had it. I only played player matches. But I ended up finding a group of people, a guy and his wife, that hosted games every day, had a host on both teams. And I played with them every single day. And the craziest part is not too long ago, I booted up Gears 1 and ran into someone who also used to play in their lobbies all the time. Some of the wildest shit.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. It's almost like Destiny. Maybe they were playing all this time just waiting for you to join.
But like that's something unique, at least for me with Gears, is that like you can find those friends that are like long-term friends playing this game for whatever reason.
Oh yeah.
Like most of my like long-term internet friends are from Gears. I have one from Halo, most are Gears, and maybe one from World of Warcraft. But Gears is a majority of those people that I still talk to.
Yeah, I think I have a couple friends that were like real life friends through school, but for the most part, I'd say like I don't know, 5 to 6, maybe 7 people that I still talk to regularly and play with. I met playing Gears. Just like the online, you know what it is, and it might be because you just have that connection to where like I feel like Gears of War is such a niche game that it's hard
It
to find
is.
people with the same similar interest, that interest alone just kind of lets like solidifies that click.
I can still talk.
But it's like once you have that connection, that click, like, oh, Gears of War is what we're interested in. It's just like the immediate bond that you have with that individual that it's kind of you're not going to find that elsewhere, that you kind of just I don't know, just form something and they become a lifelong friend. Like I've met many people through Gears of War, when whether it's the forums or playing in public matches or lobbies and other people invite. Like my friends list, like the majority of it is full of Gears of War players throughout the years. And all of them I would consider friends, but there's a couple that you kind of build more than just the Gears bondage, I guess.
Definitely.
That it evolves into something. But yeah, it's there's just something very special about Gears that and maybe other players of playing other games feel the same way with their connection. Like you'd mentioned that you had a friend from Halo. I've never met anyone from Halo, and I played a lot of Halo, especially Halo 3. But maybe it's because I just didn't have that connection with the game. It was just a game that I was playing. But Gears of War is just completely different. It's on a whole different level. That once I find somebody who's interested in the same game that I am, because I'm like you, I played it every day. That's all I wanted to play.
I see. I was homeschooled, so I literally played it every day, all
Yeah,
day.
yep. Dude, it consumed every bit of my life back then. Not that it doesn't now, but I remember I had local friends at school. We played Gears of War 2 pretty much daily, and then whenever they wanted to hang out, and one thing is we lived in the same neighborhood, so like we basically decided, hey, when we hang out, let's just kind of like rotate houses in a way. And whenever it was my house to host the whatever gathering we were doing, we would literally be sitting there playing Gears 2. Say like, hey, all right, let's take a break, let's go hang out, kind of thing. All right, yeah, come over. Then they all come over, and by the time they're over, I was done playing the game, but I may have had a Twitch stream up watching the game. Like I just couldn't put it down. Like it had to be playing, whether it was myself playing or me watching somebody play 20.
So, what would you say your favorite mechanic is from the game? If you want to keep thinking, I can start off for you.
There's a lot that I like, and they're kind of minor ones, right? Like if I had to think of mechanics that they've added over the years that made the gameplay feel better and more smooth, I think I would say something as simple as just like the roadie vault. I think is a mechanic that I like a lot. But if
Okay.
I had to pick like one mechanic that I think is like when I think of a mechanic and I immediately think of Gears, it'd have to be the actives. I just like the idea of it and always have like the idea. I don't like how cheesy they are today, but like old school activing, I kind of liked the idea of if you can hit a perfectly timed active, you should have a slight benefit over somebody who hasn't.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite though, like, which is it's weird. So my favorite thing about Gears, and it is also part of the thing that drew me into the game, other than the Locust, was down but not out and being able to
Mm,
revive people. Like that was
mm.
actually that was a huge thing for me. I loved that I could run around and get people back up. Because like even back in Battlefield 2 Special Forces on PC, like I always played medic. So it was I don't know, it's a cool thing and I still love it. And when Judgment removed it, I was very upset.
Yeah, it's actually funny you say that because I never really thought of down but not out as like I mean, it is a core mechanic, but I never thought of it that way. But yeah, bringing back the memory of Judgment, I remember that was like one of my biggest pet peeves that they removed. And it triggered me to the point that I gave up on that game very early on in its life cycle. I think I gave it a month before I got rid of it. But yeah, removing down but not out was a huge bummer. That yeah, down but not out is actually a good mechanic.
Yeah, that hooked me with the Locust, and I mean it's I don't know, it's part of the. I mean, I would say it's part of the reason that I still play. I mean, not just because people can go down and I can get them up. I mean,
Oh yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
but
for
I
sure.
mean, it's a huge thing in the game for me. That and executions, like
Yeah,
I think those are very important to gears. And when you take those away, you lose the gearsiness of things.
they kind of changed it over the years, but one of my favorite things to do was in Gears 1, you had like the static curb stomp.
Yeah.
There really was no animation to it
Oh
in a
yeah, you could
sense.
save people.
Yeah, you
Mhm.
can. I don't remember if you could for with like shotgun kills. I think you could maybe, but like specifically, I remember headshots.
Yeah, you
I
could snipe
remember,
someone while they were curb
yeah,
stomping.
I remember I used to play with my buddy a lot, all the time. And Gears 1 was very difficult to get on the same team because there is no lobby balancing or matchmaking or anything like that. You literally had to fight 7 other people or 6 other people to get on the same team as your friend. But we did our best. But I remember there are so many moments where he went down and someone came up for the curb stomp, and then mid curb stomp, they just lift their foot and then the body just falls without a head. It was a very exciting hero moment, to say the least. But I mean, as far as mechanics, there's a lot of mechanics that they've added in Gears that are very unique, and I don't really think of them as like an everyday mechanic. But like even as something as simple as like giving ammo or trading weapons or something like that.
Yeah, dude, I loved it when they added the both of those. Both those were great.
Yeah, it's like trading weapons for sure. Like sometimes it may be like a little clunky or whatnot, but it's better than like, I mean, even like in Gears 5 today, right? They made it a little easier that if you can't get the trading mechanic, you can just straight up drop the weapon. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it's a cool mechanic. I don't understand why you would need it, but it's cool to have. But like old school Gears, I remember that if you picked up a sniper for somebody, you had to like run around the map to find a weapon to swap it out
Yeah.
for them to pick it up. And yeah,
Yeah.
like trading the weapon is definitely a mechanic that is a positive for the future of the game.
And it kind of just goes to show how co-op is such a huge part of Gears.
Oh
Like
yeah,
being
for
like
sure.
even though we're talking mainly about multiplayer and stuff, like these things wouldn't have been added to the game if co-op like team play or something like that wasn't in mind the whole time. Like
Yeah.
if you're just focusing on making a solo hero shooter, you're not going to think about all this stuff to put into the game where you're always intertwined with your team.
With that being said, it just popped in my mind. What if they ever added in like co-op executions?
I feel like that was talked about for 5.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like it was because I remember it being brought up a lot in 4, especially because of the competitive scene. Like the end of every escalation match was like everyone just kicking the guy while someone did a
Oh
wild.
yeah, yep. I guess kicking is a slight execution. It's a diss for sure,
Yeah,
but sometimes you just can't get it to activate or work. But yeah, I think dual executions or co-op executions would be so cool.
the closest thing you got to that was the chainsaw in Gears 2,
Oh yeah,
where you could both chainsaw someone at the same time.
one from the front, one from behind.
Yep, I actually had that happen in Gears 5.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
if you have to start like exactly at the same time, or it doesn't happen.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so it's like a small window before it
Yeah,
actually decides who gets the execution. That makes sense. So I know from experience and playing with you, both you and I are both multiplayer focused players. What was your thought and experience with Horde for the first time when they introduced it in Gears 2?
oh, I loved it.
Yeah?
I thought it was the coolest thing. I did, and even, I mean, planting your boom shields backwards so you can just hide at the top of Jacinto.
Yeah.
It was a great time, and I mean, I still like Horde. I can't sit there and play it like a. I mean, some people are just Horde players.
Oh,
I
for
can't do
sure.
it, but I still love the mode. Same
Yeah.
thing with Beast mode in Gears 3. I thought that was sick.
It was. Beast mode for me was like a one and done thing though. Like as soon as I got the achievements, or more specifically the unlock, I think it was
The
Savage
Theron.
Theron. Yeah. As soon as I got that, I was kind of done with it. But it was definitely a very cool mode. But Horde, I'm in the same boat. I like the idea. I like Horde. I can't sit there and play it a ton. In fact, I prefer the new Frenzy mode over the new Horde. Just like 12 waves and you're done kind of thing.
Me too.
But every Gears game, I always want to sit down and play a map 1 through 50 just to get the Horde experience in that game. But other than that, I can't sit there and grind it. But like as far as Horde, I can't remember. I'm sure other games have done it first, right? Like I'm assuming Killing Floor was out before. I don't know when Killing Floor even came out, but like that's all Killing Floor is based off of. It's just like wave based zombie killing and
It is an
creature
old game.
killing.
Yeah.
say but like as far as like the console space, right? I don't know who did it first,
I think
Gears or Call of Duty.
I think Gears of War popularized it.
For
I'm
sure.
pretty sure Gears, which to be fair, I mean, possibly World at War and Gears were doing it at the same time because I mean, I don't know how long the development cycle is for either game. And I don't exactly remember when World at War came out, but I'm pretty sure Gears 2 came out before it.
Yeah. Let's I think you're right. But I know that like I put my time, to be honest, I think they came out around the same time.
That's what
I
I'm
think
saying. Like they could have both been working on it at the same time.
Yeah, oh man. So here's my
But
experience.
I think the big co-op part of Gears 2 though is the reason that it got popularized so much.
Oh yeah, for sure.
World at War Zombies was fun and all, but Gears just again it has the huge co-op aspect to it.
If I'm not mistaken, too, I think Zombies was like a secret unlock.
It was, yeah.
So it wasn't there at launch or at since the beginning. But like Gears Horde, I remember they were advertising it, and I remember my first experience with it was different, and I liked it. I remember like looking at the mode and like reading up on it and watching the little videos that Epic would put out about it and stuff like that. I knew that I was gonna jump straight into the campaign and absolutely loved the multiplayer, but the Horde was just something that I would do with the boys on the side, right? And I remember that when it first came out, I knew I wanted to get everyone together to play my first 1 through 50 waves of Horde just to get that out of the way. And I remember I played through the campaign, picked Dizzy, went into a Horde multiplayer match, invited everybody in, and we just sat there and we played River 1 through 50. And it was so different, so challenging at the time too, especially without any fortifications or anything like that.
Oh yeah.
But it was a real good time.
I feel like River is everyone's first Horde map.
It could be.
I know oh god, before Gears 2 even came out, I forget what expo it was, but there was like camera footage, like literally someone standing behind people with a camera recording them playing Guardian on River. And I was getting so excited for that. Like on as silly as it is, I used to like River so much because it had water in it, right? And
Yeah.
water physics in every other game had sucked. Like older games like that, there was like I don't know, the water was just static. It just was there. Gears 2, like as you walked through it, it waved and everything. I just thought it was the coolest shit ever.
I think everything about Gears 2 just kind of had like a flow to it.
Gears 2, I still think it's the best looking Gears of War game.
I agree.
I probably played it the least out of all of them because its launch was so horrendous, but I still think it's the best looking aesthetically for Gears.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I like the visuals of 2, but I prefer the aesthetics of 1. And if they can somehow marry those two together, it'd be a good time.
We can only hope for E-Day.
I know. So you had a bad experience with Gears 2 multiplayer at launch?
Everyone did. Oh boy, everyone did.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
only person that could play the game was host. If you weren't host, you were losing because your shotgun shot straight into the floor.
True. See, it's like my experience with Gears 2 at launch, and I might be looking at it through rose-tinted glasses, but I think I knew the issues and the problem, but I was so hyped for the game that I just didn't give a damn. You know, I played it and I loved it just like any other Gears game. There were some iffy mechanics and whatnot. Like the smoke ragdoll was a great idea, but it just did not play out.
Oh yeah, I loved them, but they were awful.
I know matchmaking took forever. I remember getting into one of my first games. I started up the queue and it took like 20-25 minutes just to get into a game. And then once you got into the game, it was super laggy. The weapons just wouldn't. The hit detection on the weapons were awful. The sniper might as well just rip it straight out of the game. But other than that, like I remember having a really fun time playing Gears of War 2, and I absolutely loved it.
So what's your favorite map from Gears 2?
Ooh, man.
Come on, off memory. Don't Google that map list.
No, I'm not Googling. I have a couple. I just can't tell. And you know, I will say
Gears 2 has a lot of maps. Okay. Top 3.
One of them is in my top 3, but them recently bringing it back has like altered my thought on it. And that is River. That is River. I think River was in my top 3, maybe even my top map in Gears 2, but them bringing it back in 5, I just realized how awful that map just plays. And despite me playing King of the Hill and Annex most days in Gears 2. So I know the argument is, well, it's bad in control, but it's great for like execution. I played Annex most of my time in Gears 2. So it's still the same thing. It just played different. But if I had to pick top 3 in Gears of War 2, not talking remade maps, it would probably be River, Ruins, and Jacinto launch maps. But then you have the DLC.
All the DLC.
Yeah, the DLC.
If you want to separate all that, I mean,
Holy crap! Yeah, there's just so much. It's hard to like pick and choose great maps from Gears 2 because Gears 2 arguably has like the best map selection
It did. It
in any of
definitely
the
did.
games. But like if we were to add more, man, I think Highway was always up there for me. Allfather's Garden
Yeah,
was up
that's
there.
a perfect map.
There were so many. I can't even think of them all right now.
So
Memorial was kind of cool.
I like that one. My top three, which these are definitely gonna be ones no one else likes, but it would be Uphill. I loved Uphill. I honestly I can't explain it, but I loved Uphill.
I remember nothing about Uphill other than the fact that there was the mortar at the very top of the highway.
And then I liked Nowhere a lot,
Nowhere was cool.
and Fuel Station.
Fuel Station was all right.
Those were probably my top three, which they're all DLC maps. So I mean, if my favorite base map would probably be Day One.
Day One was also pretty good.
Day One was that was the first map I played in Gears too. When we got home from the midnight release, we immediately booted up all three consoles and system linked Wingman 1v1v.
Yeah, Day One is pretty good. Fuel Station I have a fond memory of as well, because after playing Annex for so long, me and my group, my friends, we kind of transitioned it over to King of the Hill. And King of the Hill plays different than how it does in modern games, where you don't have a respawn if your team
Holds the hill.
holds the hill. The hill does not move per round. It's just stuck at a location. So I remember my buddies and I, as mean as this sounds, yes, we were dick back then. Whenever the hill was on top of the gas station, there were only two ways up. There was up the elevator or the stairs. And I remember that once we gained control of up top, we never stepped foot in the hill. We just sat there. We just farmed to kills. Everybody always tried to come up the stairs because that was your only that was your best bet of rolling up and getting a kill, right? But as soon as you heard somebody go in the elevator, we all just laughed because you knew that they were dead. You could shoot through the fence and everything before the elevator even opened. So it's just like I don't know, just like a shooting duck, you know? But
see, we used to play private matches on that map, like private matches where we would intentionally do that. Like someone would be at the top, everyone would just be trying to get up there and kill them.
Yeah. After playing Gears 2 like recently, you know what map I actually loaded into, and I never liked it playing it when Gears 2 was the game. No.
Stasis.
I don't mind Stasis, but Stasis was also slightly boring.
It's just too big. I think Stasis is a good map. It's just too big. The spawns are huge.
It is kind of big. No, the map that I was thinking of was Flood.
Well, I liked Flood. I always liked Flood. That's
Flood. Weapon swap wise is kind of boring, but it is unique and it looks really freaking cool.
Yep, it's a cool map. You probably couldn't do it again in the current age of gaming, sadly. But it's a cool map for sure.
Probably not. In fact, I think they kind of steered away from any environmental maps other than
they tried to put some in
Asylum.
5. You have Asylum, Exhibit.
I guess you could. Yeah, the lasers are kind of environmental.
I feel like there's another one that I'm not thinking of, but
Icebound, maybe.
Icebound, yeah, it has environment.
I guess, yeah.
They tried. It's just Gears 5 is it's a game.
One of the maps in Gears 2 that I didn't list as my top maps, but it was no joke. The very first map that I loaded into was Hail.
Oh, Hail?
No, Hail was bad.
Gears 2 just had so many good maps.
It had so many good maps. Pavilion's not one of them, in my opinion.
You don't like Pavilion?
No, either. It's the same with Security. I feel like Pavilion and Security are just like the top maps, like the foundation of Gears 2. But I could never stand them, and I still can't stand them.
I liked them both.
I just think they're boring. I don't know.
Security is but I like Pavilion.
Pavilion's okay. I don't know. I think my preference on maps is based off of whether or not it's a sniper or not.
That sounds about right.
So any map that doesn't have a sniper is just automatically. But no, Pavilion's okay. Security, I just can't get behind. I think Security is a bad map. But like I said, it's like the foundation of Gears 2. It's always voted when it pops up. Blood Drive.
I can't believe we didn't think of Blood Drive.
I didn't think of Blood Drive.
That one's Blood
iconic. In my top for sure.
So
even today.
But keeping it on topic with nostalgia, Gears 3. What would you say your favorite maps are in Gears 3?
Ooh, Gears 3. All right,
I might actually have to Google these maps because there's some that I can see, but I can't remember the names.
Yeah. Let's see. So top 2 for sure. And as they pop into my head, I'll name them. But my top 2, 100%, a Checkout. And man, I'm drawing a blank. I just had it. I don't know. Come back to me. It'll come.
Okay, so out of the launch maps for Gears 3, I really wanted to like Overpass, actually. I
Oof.
really wanted to like that map. I thought it looked cool, but it was awful. It was so bad. But out of the launch maps, my favorite one, and it's going to end up being between two different maps, Hotel and Dry Dock.
Okay. So Hotel is another one of those maps that it's not on the level of security, but it's on the level of I never really got the hype behind it. I didn't care that it came up,
I
but
loved Hotel.
I don't mind it.
It's the closest thing I can get to Mansion.
Yeah, Mansion. Oh man, Mansion is a great map.
I didn't even
So
say our favorite maps for Gears 1.
I know we'll go back to that. So I'm looking at a list here myself, and the one just like you said, I could picture in my mind, but I couldn't come up with the name of it. My top two 100% are Checkout and Old Town. Old Town was like Gears 1. I remember my very first match in Gears 2 and Gears 3. And I remember Gears 3, I loaded in with my special Savage Cantus character, loading straight into Old Town TDM. I spent the first round just standing in spawn, just like looking at myself.
The Savage Cantus skin was sick. I pre-ordered for Amazon for that one too.
Yup, Savage Cantus was great. If I had to pick a top three, oh man, I don't know. The third spot would probably be a tie between either Trenches or Dry Dock.
I definitely like Trenches, yeah. But if you want to add some DLC in there, Rustle and King of the Hill is top tier. Gears.
Rustle on King of the Hill is yeah, I agree 100%. That was so much fun until the Silverback got into play.
And I misnamed. It wasn't called Uphill. It was called Underhill.
Underhill. You know what? It doesn't matter because that map is forgettable.
That's crazy.
I you know that whole DLC I didn't like. But that DLC
you didn't like the Snowblind map pack?
No, not
it had
necessarily.
It had Baird narrating over it. It's the best map pack there is.
I don't remember that at all. I mean, what was the other map? There was, Fuel Depot was added in that, and Fuel Depot is a great map.
Fuel Depot, Underhill, Grindyard.
Grindyard, that's the other one that I remember.
Grindyard would be such a good map if they just like closed it in just a little bit.
Grindyard was not bad at all, but
I don't. And they brought Courtyard.
What is it, Underhill?
They brought Courtyard back too.
Oh, Courtyard, that's right. Yeah, Underhill is just that is a dog map. I'm sorry.
I liked it.
I'm not a fan of it. DLCs for Gears 3. Only two come to mind. Aftermath, I liked a lot. And then I really liked Cove.
I liked Cove a lot too. That was one that I couldn't see. I could see it, but I couldn't think of the name. I liked Cove. I liked Anvil.
Anvil was pretty good.
Depths would have been good if you couldn't freeze the map.
Oh, yeah. Depths.
The Slab is a good map too.
The Slab is a good. Academy, I think, is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of Gears 3's great maps too were also remade too.
That's true.
From Gears 1, because I'm thinking of like experiences from Gears 3, specifically playing on like Gridlock and Blood Drive and Clock Tower. And
Clock Tower, yeah. We got to swing it back to Gears 1 on the top 3 maps of Gears 1.
Yeah, I don't think I could name a top 3 in Gears 1. I think I have to just start spitting maps out because it's hard to pick just 3, you know.
It did have a lot of great ones.
But I mean, the staple. You can't say top,
yeah.
You can't
Gridlock
list
is number
top
1.
Gears maps without listing Gridlock. Gridlock is on there. Mansion is on there. Fuel Depot is on there.
Clock Tower
is on there. However, Clock Tower, I loved Clock Tower, but I didn't begin to love it until Gears 3. Yeah. And it was Gears 3, and not only just on that map, but it was like how it played competitively changed the way that I played it and how I play it today. And I mean, even though it's been in 1, 3, has it been in 4? Was it 4?
Was it in 4? I actually don't remember.
I think it was.
It was.
Yeah. It was in 4. Yeah, it was in 4 and 5. Even though we've had it, and that's kind of been overdone when it comes to remade maps, I still enjoy it and I love it. Some other Gears 1 maps, Canals was really great.
See, that's my hot take. I don't like Canals.
You don't like Canals?
I don't.
So I don't think I like Canals today because of respawn modes. I think Execution Canals plays perfectly, and that's what I played Canals on in Gears 1. I thought it played fine in Gears 2 as well. But Gears 4 and especially Gears 5, it's definitely overstayed its welcome. Let me just say that.
I would agree.
When it comes to remade maps, I think I'd love to see new maps be remade. Except Gridlock. Gridlock, I think, is like the forever staple map that needs to come back. But
Yeah, you've got to have gridlock.
Gridlock for sure. The DLC maps for Gears 1. A map that you never really would think would be in like a
Garden?
top garden, yeah. I think Garden is unique and it was cool. I liked Process at the time. Subway. Like if you take the base maps of Gears 1, for me personally, and like my top 3 maps that I played, or even top 4 maps that I played Gears 1 ranked, I would throw Subway in there. I always rotated between Gridlock, Mansion, Fuel Depot, and Subway. I don't know why, I just loved Subway so much.
I feel like a lot of people like Subway. I mean, I liked the aesthetic, but I never really liked the map too much, to be honest. And it was really, really easy to glitch out of.
That is true. Yeah, I don't even think you needed to Kung Fu Flip. I think you could just
You
like
didn't. You
roll
could
up a
roll.
rock or something.
Yep. You
Yeah.
could just roll in a corner and you would fly out.
I do remember that.
So if you looking at the franchise, let's say from 1 through 3, who would your favorite character be?
Again, just like the maps, I don't think I can just pick like a top character because they all have like their own elements as to why I like them. But if I had to pick one, and specifically it's just for like humor in multiplayer, it would probably be Hoffman. But I mean, Marcus is a badass. Always had a connection to the Carmines. Dizzy's also really fantastic. But as far as Locust, I mean, I like playing most Locust. But as far as like an overall like character based off of lore and everything, I think I'd go with the Cantus.
Cantus is sick.
I think Cantus is really, really freaking cool. I can imagine what yours is going to be, but spit it at me.
Well, for COG, if I were gonna do a top 3, which it's still hard, but I mean, my favorite character is always gonna be Baird.
Yep.
You can't go away from Baird. After reading the books, Prescott became one of my favorite characters,
Okay.
and Dizzy's
great.
So those would have to be my top 3, which is, I guess, kind of crazy because Marcus or Dom aren't there. But I mean, every character in Gears is iconic. It's insane.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, it's funny. And the thing about Dizzy too, right, is like you look at like the overall tone of Gears, and you had Gears 1 just like lay out this foundation. And I think the only one that was like the special child in like the tone of the game is Baird, right? He was comedic and whatnot. But looking into Gears 2, I remember playing through the campaign and like actually playing the characters after I unlocked them. Ty fit in there quite well. But as soon as I unlocked Dizzy, I immediately thought there's no way this character's real, right? Like he's so left field when it comes to the characters from like within a Gears universe that I just thought that it was just like a joke, like a troll character. But over time, it's just like I need a character like that.
He fits so well to me.
It's
especially. I mean, again, he's another character that like gets even better with the books.
Oh yeah. No, the lore behind Dizzy and why he joined and whatever, I respect that so much, and I love that, and I love playing him for that. I hope we get to see more of him. I don't know the fate of the character as well as what they're gonna do with his voice.
Yes,
unfortunately. I hope Dizzy does live on to some extent.
But if I give a favorite Locust, that's a really hard one. I mean, there's a Theron Sentinel, there's a Theron Guard, there's a Savage Theron, there's Theron Elite. There's just so many different Locusts to pick from. I might just have to go with the Theron Sentinel.
Theron, man. Theron's one of those characters that you just never see. So I guess it's a good thing. Like
if you do see him,
so unique.
If you do see him, the person's usually bad.
Right.
That's how that's how it used to be. In like years 1 through 3, if you saw a Theron, you're like, oh, that dude's probably bad.
I mean, what is it? Do they look
Gears,
cool?
Dude, yeah, they look cool.
Well,
they look cool and sound cool.
I guess they do, but like in your point, it was always like a lower skilled player or like a new player that was always drawn to the
cool badass character.
I mean, I guess they look kind of cool. I mean, we brought it up the other day. The Therons in Gears 1, I do think they look pretty sick. I like how their armor is like all metallic looking and like in Mansion, like the moonlight and like the shining on the armor. It looks so good. Real good.
Between like just the look, like even like when their helmets are knocked off and stuff, I just think they look sick. They look mean. Their voices are badass.
They do.
And I mean, in Gears 2, someone shoots a mortar and they like whisper scream Skyfire. How can you not love that?
I do agree. What's your opinion? And this is random, but what's your opinion on the drones? Like from Gears 1 to 2, they had like a similar look, but then they changed them in Gears 3. Like, do you prefer the Gears 1 and 2 drone look, or do you prefer like the reptilian skin of the drones?
I think it was always supposed to be kind of scaly skin, to be honest. It's just that level of detail was a lot harder to pull off before. Now, I think the biggest change that they made with the drone that I didn't like was the face. Gears 3's drone just didn't look right to me in the face compared to Gears. Like, the overall was fine, but their face just looked odd to me in Gears 3 compared to 1 and 2.
I agree. So I think when it comes to the drone, one of my favorite skins to play, or one that I just prefer looking at is just the sniper, even though it's simple and you just slap a pair of goggles on the drone. However, I actually do think I prefer the face of the normal drone than the goggles. I think the goggles just kind of add just a weird look to the overall drone face, like you mentioned.
Out of all the variants, my favorite was the spotter.
Spotter's pretty cool. Spotter's very, very cool. Cyclops I thought was cool too, but is definitely cool. So thank you for tuning in. This is the first of what we're hoping to be many. Kind of like a little background as to why we decided to sit down and do this is just like any of you guys. We love the game. We love the series. We always want to be involved within talking about it, discussing it, even listening it, and looking out there on social media, YouTube, whatever, wherever content's being posted. There isn't just much just flat out talking about the game, you know? So that's kind of where we've decided, or how we've come up with the idea of, well, why don't we just turn it into a podcast here? There's many things that we could talk about that we'll save it for future podcasts and listenings and whatnot. But I guess what we plan to do with this, or what we're hoping, is to just be that place to just kind of, for anybody to come in and just listen to their favorite series. There isn't, like I said, there isn't much out there, and we're hoping to deliver that for you, and maybe evolve into a debate, or bring others into discussion, so you're not just a listener but also a participant, something along those lines. Possibly add some video to this gameplay alongside for you to watch, or maybe even incorporate a segment of bringing back the top plays, or something along those lines. I know we were discussing the other day, Risk, that it seems like it's missing, you know? Like,
there's a lot of things from the community that feel like they're missing these days back compared to
it just
1 through
kind of
3.
like fell off a cliff, just
Yep.
died. And it would be cool to kind of like revive all that stuff. And I feel like we could definitely do that.
Yeah, I would love to have a top 5, top 10, of the week of people submitting their clips, or even just designating a night where anyone who, listens or whatever, we can all just get together and play Gears 1, 2, 3, Judgment. I mean, whatever,
Yeah. I mean, just like we said in the beginning, the intro to this whole thing, the game is what brought us together, and brought a lot of our friends together that we still have today. And we feel like that we could keep that going for anybody who doesn't have anybody out there to play with or whatever. This could be the start. Just form a little community and bring everyone together. That's all what Gears of War has always been in my eyes. So let's see if we can keep that going.
I mean, it sounds good to me.
All right. Well, thank you for joining once again. And for anybody who's listening on a platform that has a comment section, feel free to give your origin story for Gears. Like I said, I always enjoy a good origin story, and everybody has one. Both Risk and I would love to read through them, and I'm sure everybody has a ton. So you got anything?
No, you've covered it all.
Perfect. Well, not sure when the next episode will be. We'll figure out a schedule, but once we land on something, it'll be more concrete and we'll bring it to you guys. But thank you for listening to our pilot, I guess, the nostalgic Gears origin story.